The earliest days of the pandemic, if you'll remember back a few months, were marked by a big run on toilet paper. Everybody was hoarding toilet paper. After that, there was a big run on, well, toilet paper. There was a whole lot of people stuck at home, bored. They got free money in the mail. I don't know exactly what the problem was, but they got into day trading. They were buying individual stocks on the advice of a guy from Barstool Sports called Dave Portnoy, but among other people. There have been many people doing this touting. The basic idea was we don't have any sports anymore. We're bored. We're being handed free money. Why not go out and gamble it? Or, no, sorry, invest it. Or, no, let's actually flush it, was pretty much what happened. I had heard of this back in the beginning of it. I didn't think it was a big deal. Silly me. Uh, I don't follow internet trends until it's a little too late. But this was apparently a very real thing. This Thursday, which is when I found out how significant it really was, we had a pretty decent sized crash, a fall of 8% on the S&P 500. This is exactly what I said some weeks ago we would see happening. It's part of the soft landing that the Federal Reserve is engineering. It's the Federal Reserve support for the stock market itself and for commercial loans, etc., is really just to create a soft landing. It's not to have a permanent support in the stock market. And so things are going to continue going down, and the institutional investors have an exit strategy that doesn't destroy their liquidity. It sounds like a terrible conspiracy, the Fed's giving them a way out. Well, they're trying to find an easy way or a relatively cheap way for people to, or the big institutional investors rather, to be able to get out of things. Meanwhile, millions of day traders, far more than I thought, started investing in things. And the poster child for this is Hertz, a company which has declared bankruptcy. The rental car business was always kind of marginal, and right now it's dead. So what's the stock worth? Well, it's worth zero. Ultimately, it's going to be wiped out. And what happens in a bankruptcy is that the existing uh, equity is destroyed, and the debtors wind up forming the new company. They're going to reorganize it. So the existing equity, the existing stock is worth zero, and it fell down to 0.82, not quite zero. They never go to zero immediately. Before a bunch of these internet hypesters came along and ran it up to 5.5 something, about a factor of seven higher. It's at 280 something right now. This is a Ponzi scam, okay? The only way you can make money is by being one of the first ones in. If you're joining in the fun and games of the internet, I mean, everything seems great and all that. You've got the lulls and the memes and the Bodie McBoat face, but ultimately, you're going to lose money. Okay, it's not a casino. It's not a sports betting thing. Now, I realize that finance seems an awful lot like sports. To me, this is nothing but the problem. I want to see a well functioning equity market. I think that's extremely important. It hasn't been that way for a long time. It's really been something like, well, not sports, but a big casino, something you go to for amusement when you're bored. And then you go around and you lie about how much your winnings are. Not so much lie to other people, you lie to yourself first. Other people are just collateral damage in the big delusion explosion. Um, Ultimately, how do I compare this? What do I evaluate it with? Well, I have to thank flat earthers for preparing me for really just about anything in terms of internet trends. People will believe anything, at least for a moment, go along with it. All of these day traders are going to lose everything. We are entering the liquidity phase of the stock market. This is really what got me interested in it. Oh, we're finally entering the liquidity phase. The VIX spiked up above 40. All the things happened that you might expect. And a lot of these day traders are going to get completely hammered. Um, Watching this stuff on a daily basis is nonsense. And I realize you might think there's nothing better to do. Why not contemplate the world that comes afterwards? Help your fellow humans, reach out to people who are in need. All kinds of things other than sitting there and watching CNBC, trying to figure out how you can get that win, get that score. This is the problem. It's not all about winning and losing, about watching the score. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Okay? An economy is not sports. And I realize that those people who are great self promoters like to promote things, those people who are into sports like to call it a sport. Look, there are many reasons to buy an individual stock. You see value, it's a company you work for, things like that. Being bored is not one of them. And it is not like sports. Okay, I'm not going to give you any advice on individual stocks, and if I did, please don't follow it. I'm not going to give you any advice on individual sports because uh, I'm a Dolphins fan. Okay, you wouldn't want to follow it anyway. The main point is, it seems that we need something to keep people amused. Otherwise, they go out and do something crazy and stupid. It's all going away. Poof. All right? Capitalism really works in the long run. Yes, in the long run, we're all dead. Being bored is not a reason to do anything except, well, I mean, if you want to watch a bunch of YouTube videos, there are great channels on history. Great War is one of my favorites. If you're into warships, Drakenfell, yeah, I've got some favorite channels. What do you want? Um, I could show you some interesting music on the Chinese Gutian. All right. Don't go investing like this. It's bad for you. It's bad for the stock market. It's bad for everybody. But ultimately, it's not my judgment that counts. It's the stock market. All of these people are going to lose. It really is sort of like toilet paper. Just like the stock market really is like 1999 and the tech bubble. Or it's like 1929 and the great crash. Or the 1987 flash crash. Or the stock market is like everything all at once. Not a friendly place. Good luck.